book in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're live.
So I go to your page,
Yes.
and I guess JJ, you can share it from my page.
Yes, I'm on her page now too.
Oh, I see us.
Trying.
Okay, so we're live, Jeevan. You can begin your show.
All right, share.
Well, we still have like less than a minute, so you can.
Oh, I click share now. Did that means it went to my page?
Yes, you can share it to your page
Okay. Just
because we're live. Jeevan, you're on.
Okay. Welcome to WCEG Talk Radio. I am Jeevan Brown, and today I'm coming from Atlanta, and today I have my brother, my author brother, my brother designer. I went to college with him. He's a real estate mogul, designer, speaker, orator, retired rapper, and poet. Those were the college days. If you want to know how to live a crazy, fun college life, just come to us and we can tell you all about it. He's a great black man. He's a brother, a father, a husband, an uncle, and one of my best friends. How you doing today, JJ?
I'm good. I think if you made it to our age and you're not either a retired rapper or producer, you ain't live all the way. Like you had to
Yeah.
at least try it once. So.
Yeah, man. We came a long way. Just to give everybody before we get started into everything, give everybody a backstory. This is I've interviewed a lot of people, but this one is special here. This is my best friend, my brother. I met him freshman year in college. We were walking on campus, and everybody. It's like the first, second day. Everybody was kind of standoffish, but me and him walking beside each other, and my phone rang. And this is back when people had ringers on their phone, and I don't even have a ringer no more. I like it on vibrate. But I had all these ringers on my phone. I think I might have had Northeast Groovers playing or James Brown or something. And he was like, "What you know about that?" And every person he asked me about as an artist, I had on my phone as a ringer. I was like, "Oh, he cool." And then his favorite go-go band, for those of you who are not from DC or Maryland, Virginia, go-go is a genre out of the DC area, and his favorite go-go band was Northeast Groovers, and that's rare when you're from home. It's not rare, but everybody likes Backyard, the TCB back then, but it's rare. A lot of old heads like Groovers, so I was like, who is he? Who is he? What do you know about Groovers? Then I met his sister, and his sister and all her cousins and friends, they remind me of the girls I know back home, and they love groovers too. So we connected from there, from music, had a lot in common. And since 2004 to 2020, that's a long time, man.
Long time.
I've known him. This is my man. So I'm going to introduce the WCEG Talk Radio to Julian Dangerfield. Tell him a little bit about yourself. Where you from and what you do.
Currently in Maryland, married, kids, just following your footsteps and your inspiration. You wrote a book. I was like, all right, I got to write a book. Jeevan did it. I'm going to do it. But like serious story, when I came to see you, because I hadn't been to visit you like solely for you in Atlanta yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to visit you in November, right? The end of November.
Yeah.
And like, the whole last day, like, cause I just kind of saw you working in your purpose. And like the whole last day, I just kept saying, I gotta get my life together. Like, I gotta get my life together. Like you inspired me, like you were working in your purpose. And so when I went home, the first thing I did for a week, no lie, I worked on my vision board. Cause you showed me your vision board. I was like, you know what? I gotta get my vision board together. So no lie, like boom, worked on this
Oh,
vision
yeah.
board.
Look at
And
that.
yeah, it's crazy. And so like the first, designs that I did from the clothing line were
Yeah.
a November design for the shirts and the hat.
Yeah.
And like it's crazy because I mean, it's good to be goal oriented, but so even when I was trying to do real estate, it took 3 years for me to get to the point where I could buy my first rental property.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, blessings on blessings, it snowballed, and I'm kind of in a good place now financially, and I'm able to kind of share the knowledge that I have, which is why I wrote the book, Everything I Wish I Knew, just to kind of share the struggle and the mistakes I made, trying to get my credit together. Plug. Trying to get my credit together, trying to, really improve my financial situation, learn how to save, learn how to invest my money. So I wrote that book. And all of this, like I wrote that book after, we were kicking it in November. And then I always had the plan for the clothing line, which is BLXALL, Black Excellence in All Things. And it just so happens that when it was the first collection was done and it was ready to go, that's when George Floyd happened, Breonna Taylor happened. And, you know, I even hesitated with like actually launching that clothing line because I was like, I just don't want to seem like I'm benefiting off like tragedy of our people or anything like that.
So I don't want to get to all that yet. Go ahead. We're going to slow down. So he's a designer, he's an author, a real estate mogul. How many properties do you have?
So it was 6, it's 5 now. I actually sold one like a month and a half ago. I'm working towards getting a 12 unit. That's my goal for the end of the year or the beginning of next year to buy a 12 unit apartment. So I kind of had to deleverage a little bit. Right. Might have to sell one more too, but the goal is a 12 unit apartment by the end of the year.
So you've had a lot of businesses, very ambitious, me and you both, from Art Kids to Demeanor to this to that. Even in college, he was doing stuff. We were in college, y'all. Man, he's a rapper and I was a producer. We made a whole mixtape together. Right. Yeah, like I did the whole production and he rapped over every beat. What was the point where you sat down and you said you're going to take real estate classes and get into real estate? Because to me, in your core, like that painting y'all see behind him, he drew that painting. So you're the core, like you're an artist, a drawer. What made you sit down and do real estate?
I actually, like when I was doing Art Kids, when we were doing Art Kids, which was like an art program that we set up locally here. We were in Kettering, Maryland, just to teach young Black kids art, drawing, painting, and everything. When we were doing that, man, I was on, I want to say like a $42,000 salary. So I'm taking care of all this overhead, you know, supplies, all that. It's all coming out of my pocket, me. And I'm running this program. And you know, it was a lot going on. Casey was pregnant at the time with Zuri. It was just a lot going on. That was like right before the wedding too. So the wedding happened in between that phase. And man, I burned myself out. And I really figured out that in order to do the stuff that I want to do, which is really helping our people, inspiring our people, like in any way possible, I needed to be in a better financial situation, me personally. You know, Hove had the line, I had to get rich so I could, you know, like I can't help the poor from one of them. So I got rich and gave back to me. That's the win-win. Right. And for me, it was kind of like the same thing. Like I had to get my financial situation straight so I could do as much as I possibly can. And money isn't the issue. So, I mean, really, it was maybe at this point, I guess 5 years ago where like I realized like in order for me to get there, I had to do it through real estate. Like, unfortunately, I'm not about to be designing no billion-dollar app. Like that wasn't my path. Like, so I could do it through real estate. And instead of flipping or anything like that, I wanted to own property because I feel like the Black community doesn't own enough property. We don't own enough stuff. We sell it, we move, whatever, but we don't own it. So that was my goal. So it was really, you know, like going through that experience with our kids and kind of struggling financially to do positive to like, okay, I got to get my money and then I can help people along the way.
Right. And I think you had told me you took real estate classes when y'all had the government shutdown up there.
Yeah, so the government shutdown happens and like 1 week stretched on to basically 2.5 months. And so I was like, you know what? I need to figure out what I'm going to be doing financially because I basically had no checks coming in at that time. Right. So thankfully I had enough money saved up where I was like, and I had a lot of bad luck with, not bad luck with real estate agents, but it's difficult being a real estate agent and then trying to help an investor buy property. It's just kind of like a hard thing to do sometimes. And I'm particular in what I wanted to do. So the best thing I figured I could do was to go get my real estate license myself. So I knocked that out in about a month. Yeah, it was like three to 4 weeks to a month. I mean, just grinding, like doing the classes, knocked out the test, and then I immediately started going to auctions until I was able to.
How long did it take to do those classes?
It took me a month. So I started probably like the second week into the government shutdown, and then I had it by the second month.
Is that the normal pace people go to take those classes, or it take longer than that? I know you cut everything out and get focused. So is that did you finish quicker to some people, or is that it takes longer for others?
I think, I mean, there are different ways you can take classes. Like I took them all online because I knew I could learn at my pace. So no matter, I mean, from morning to night, literally from when I woke up to when I laid down, I was just doing the classes, like burning through the information, taking notes and making sure I could pass the test. So I knocked it out as quick as I could so I could buy a property as quick as I could.
Right. What's some of the feedback you've got since putting the book out?
The feedback has been dope. Like, I mean, I get DMs all the time, like all the time, just about something that people didn't know. I mean, to get DMs from people that say, hey, they bought their first investment property by this. Yeah. So, I mean, I got somebody that hit me up this week and said they bought a duplex after they read the chapter in the book, you know.
The multi-family home joint?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I was reading it. I was like, dang, this joint can really like make you go buy a house. It's very motivating. I was like, this joint it's an easy read. It's not too many pages. So it's like you get straight to the point and you can feel like, let me go take over the world. Cause I was thinking to myself, I should have went and bought a multi-family home before I got my house now. I should have did that first and rented that out down in the basement and did that and made some money while I'm doing that.
You and me both. So I get that a lot. So that's been rewarding for people to just say that they were able to like fix their credit or save $10,000 by doing what I wrote in a book. Right. And it's just like, okay, so this is having an impact.
So you're like a mentor through words.
I guess so.
You don't want that title?
No, I don't like those titles. I don't like gurus or mentors or nothing. I'm just trying to do my part.
Just own it, dog. Just own it. Speaking of mentor, did you have anybody like help you? Because I know you took classes, but did anybody like help you do that or give you any advice? Because did you learn all of this through like trial and error?
It was 98% through trial and error, and then like towards the end of what I was already doing, my friend Megan, you know Megan. Her father Cliff is like real big in real estate here. Right. And so I reached out to him and he like responded back immediately and we talked. And when I was going through a real difficult financial situation, like we were about to sell the old house, the first house that we were living in, because it was just stressful as a mug.
I was going to ask that because I read in your book, you said a lot of people were telling you to sell it, but you were like so against it. So why were some people telling you to sell it? And what did Megan's father say?
So I've learned a thing in my life where like I'm not gonna take advice from somebody who hasn't done what I'm trying to do. I'm just not about specific things. Like I'm not gonna ask somebody that doesn't do real estate. I'm not even gonna ask a person that fixes and flips about buying whole rentals because you're not doing what I'm doing. So you have a different perspective. So everybody else was like, dog, you could cash out, just sell that house. You have 200,000 and you can go buy whatever you want. But that would be moving backwards for me because I wanted to build a rental portfolio. So he got on the phone with me and he was like, if you sell it, you ain't gonna never get started in real estate. That's literally what he said. I was like, dang, he was gonna be like, man, you were messed up before you even started. And so that conversation like just led me to grind it out. And thankfully, prayerfully blessed, I'm here.
So you said fix and flip, and what would be the opposite version of that? Just holding on to the property?
I mean, there's like a bunch of different areas in real estate, but what people know are from like HGTV, fix and flip. So people buy like a property that needs a lot of work, they put money into it, fix it, and then they sell it for profit, which is profitable. A lot of people do that, but thankfully, like I don't need the money. I'm not really trying to like have a lot of money. I'm trying to build equity and have profit. Yeah. So my path was a little bit different.
What have been some of the ups and downs of real estate and your journey? I know you told me you had a problem, maybe some tenants sometimes. Like what's been your ups and downs?
Downs, I think this was November. It was like November, December. This had been going on since like September. I had one property that needed about $30,000 worth of work. I had another property that was empty. I had another property where the tenants just stopped paying. Like they stopped paying in September. So basically I had four houses. No, out of the 5 houses, like 3 weren't making any money. And then when you have bills on top of that to pay, it's like, so for a good 3-month stretch, I was like hurting. I was hurting when I came down in Atlanta. I mean, It was thankfully, again, like I know enough to have like an emergency fund for each property. So I have a certain amount saved for each property. But when you see that money dwindling, it's like, yo, what am I about to do in the next 2 months? So I mean, even the eviction process, it took me from September. I didn't get those people out of that house until I want to say like the beginning of January.
Right.
So that was definitely a down. Up for me would be walking through properties with the kids. Like I take Zoe with me whenever I can. She goes and see property. She like knows the value of things. She can like when I put in offers, she's sitting with me. So at an early age, she will be smarter than all of us, like just understanding that what's important.
Right. So evicting somebody, I know you can't just probably do what you want to do, go in there and just take them out. So what's the process with doing that? Like it's probably a lot of laws and stuff you can't do.
Yeah, when it comes to renters, like especially our area, like up here, DMV is like very tenant friendly. So there are a lot of rules and regulations you have to follow. You have to make contact in a certain amount of time. You have to send them, like notices. If you don't hear back, then after so many days, you can go file with the court. But then the court, if you file in December, you might not get a date until the end of January. And then that date is just to come to court, and then it might be extended. It's a lot. It's a big headache when it comes to that part of it.
Didn't you say one time like they was avoiding you? You went down there and they wasn't answering the door?
Oh no, completely avoiding. Like I mean, that's happened on a few occasions. That's happened to other people I talk to too. Like they see the car out front, they're knocking on the door. Like it is what it is. Part of the game.
You said home ownership rates of Black households are 41.1%. What do you think we need to do as a people to change that and close the wealth gap?
I read something one time and it said, my grandparents didn't own a house, so they couldn't help my mother buy a house. My mother didn't own a house, so she couldn't help me own a house. And if you don't end up owning a house, you're not going to be able to help your kids own a house. So I think like our generation is doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is buying houses. We're buying our first house. Like you don't have to be an investor to build wealth. You just have to own something and own it long enough that you have equity built up. A lot of people whose grandparents paid off a house, instead of selling that house, we all should have just held on to them.
Right.
And, but that's what we need to do, basically, just own something.
And you have properties where back home? They're all in where?
I mean, all in Maryland, actually. So Baltimore and then where we live, like the Clinton area.
A lot of people have houses in Baltimore. What's the thing about Baltimore? Why be more?
So where we live is really, really expensive. It's like New York or California. They got 1,800 square foot houses in DC. It's $900,000. Like it's really expensive. So Baltimore, I mean, there are other places. There are Hagerstown, there's West Virginia. There are other places here, like close around.
Far from you, though.
It's far, but it depends on how bad you want it. And so you can actually buy a property in Baltimore, without it being like $200,000-$300,000. You can get a property depending on what work you want to do for $30,000, for $20,000. But you're gonna have to like fix it up.
So and you have a multi-family home in Baltimore, right? It's a row house.
Yep.
So you have two families living in that home?
Yeah, top and then the basement is a separate unit.
So explain to people what that ultimately could do. Like you can buy more with that and it can have more units and then that's all profit and then you can actually live in there too if you wanted to. A lot of people don't really know that strategy or that hustle. And that's a big one right there. It's like you can really, have passive income and, almost come rich doing that. You have multiple homes. Like
yeah, you could. Like, I mean, again, like, so that's part of the reason why I wrote the book. Like, I would have known the first house I would have bought would have been like a duplex or a triplex or something like that. Right. You can buy it. You pay one mortgage for all those different units. You live in one unit and you can rent the other two out, but you can do it in a regular house too. Like, let's just say you have a house with the basement and you're not really using the basement. You can literally just rent the basement out. You can have somebody paying you rent that's paying your mortgage, and you're saving your money. So there's
my dad actually was thinking about renting out his house that I come home and I live in the basement at times when I come home. I was like, so where am I going to go live when I come home? He's like, you go to your mom's house. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, why would you do that? But he doesn't need the money, but he just wants to make more money. He's like, I don't go down there. I can just close it off. You know, he a handyman. He can close it off and have him go through the back door and do that. I was like, you gotta relax. You gotta chill. Like, I come home at least every 3 months. Like, why would you?
Messed up Pop's money. You messed up Pop's money.
Listen, he'll be okay. But yeah, I was reading. I was like, dang. And I went on Zillow and started looking up multi-family homes, seeing what I because I was like, I think I want to get another property like in the next year or so. I was like, I'm waiting to see.
Yeah,
but right now
to do it, or the Midwest. Like, I mean, it's a lot of opportunities.
Are you thinking about buying properties in other states?
I'm gonna have to. That's gonna be the only way I get my 12 unit. Is I'm gonna have to. It's gonna have to be somewhere else.
And when you do that, just for people who don't know, when you do that, we had to do a lot of flying back and forth, or will you get somebody to manage it? How does that work?
Yeah, you would definitely want to like fly back and forth to see it, to make sure everything is going right. But you have to have boots on the ground too. So maybe somebody that you know in the state, like, you know, we went to school in North Carolina. We know enough people in North Carolina could, you know, just help us keep an eye on it or see it or whatever. But preferably it would be hiring a property management company in that area that could manage everything, handle the phone calls, collect the rents, and you don't have to worry about anything except getting paid.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
What state you thinking about doing something?
Man, I've definitely, stuff has gone up in North Carolina because the goal always from the beginning was to own something in North Carolina, preferably Charlotte. Prices have gone up. South Carolina is still doable. I mean, Tennessee is doable. I was looking in Ohio a lot. There are a lot of different places where it just depends by the time that I'm ready, what's out there.
Does your father still have that house in North Carolina, or he sold that?
He sold that when we were in school. He sold that after he was gone.
Oh, it was. I guess we've been into too much, or Missy had been into too much.
Like, bye. Yeah, but if he would have still owned that would be clutch right now.
You one of your chapters is buy a house. You say, I think it's broke. Buy a house broke. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have they're kind of scared to hop out there and buy a house. What advice would you give them? Because it is a process and it's a lot, and people, you know, they don't know what all they got to do. It's like, you know, a lot of people, when they see a challenge, they back away from it. But it's actually better to do it like when you first get out, you first get your first job, and you broke into so many programs. So explain to people like what they can do for the program. And when you and Casey bought your first house, did you all do a first time home buyers program?
Yeah, it was the first time home buyers, but it wasn't like a program. Like, you know, they have salary based programs. So if you're making 40,000, you could get this much in a loan. If you're making 50,000, 60,000. Like, there are a lot of programs everywhere in counties and states, and basically you could buy a house making 30, 40,000. You just would have to work with that program to make sure your credit is at this level, that you have this much saved. And I mean, you could literally own a house right out of college. Like, we both owned a house right out of college. I didn't know, I wasn't aware. So I went from apartment to apartment, and I'm paying rent all this time. It's like what I was paying in rent 10 years ago, 34. What I was paying in rent 14 years ago, like that could have been mortgage. I could have been paying down my own mortgage. So, you know.
14 years ago.
I know. It makes you kind of sad sometimes.
When you bought your first house, how long was the process? Because I know some people, they sometimes even give up, you know, because the process is so long.
So the process, it wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty quick, but that was just like a standard FHA. When you go through programs, sometimes the process is a little bit longer. But again, it kind of just depends what program you're using, what realtor, with brokers that you have. So, I mean, everything is kind of depending on your specific situation.
When I got my house, I started to do a first-time home buyers program. But one of the stipulations is you had to be in the house. You couldn't rent it out. Or
4 years?
It was 10 years.
Yeesh.
And I was like, I'm not trying to be held down for 10 years. Because what if, you know, I blow up, or when I become a millionaire, it's like I'm out, and I don't care what y'all say. So I didn't want to do that. So, and I had the money, so I just said, forget it. I just put it down and go buy my house. I wasn't involved.
I mentioned that in the book, that there are little clauses that sometimes you have to stay in it for so long, or different stuff like that. Sometimes you can refi out of those situations where, if that's a clause, maybe you can just refi completely and just get a whole different loan on the house, and then you can get out of it that way. But I would definitely say, like, read the fine print or ask all those questions, like how long you have to stay, are you able to rent it out? But if possible, like, a program is a good opportunity to become a homeowner.
It's a good program. And I was on Zillow every day when I was looking for a house. Was your real estate agent really, really hands-on and good with you? Mine was good, but I was still on Zillow, Trella, all that every day. Until this day, a lot of people, when you buy a house or looking for a house, you're going to stay on Zillow even after you buy a house. Just keep looking just to look. Yeah. So did they really?
My default was Redfin. But
Redfin too.
Yeah, so like even when you have an agent, even if they're really good agents, and I had good experiences with agents too, even if they're good agents, you're still like heavily invested in your own house. So you're going to be looking, sending stuff no matter what, which you should, because you know exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah. So because she found my house, but I was sending her stuff. I was texting her like every day, sending her like 5 links a day. She was like, "Whoa, you're really going?" I was like, "Yeah." So I started looking in September or the end of September, and I got my house in beginning of November. So it was fun though. It's like a fun process going through that whole process, going to look for houses and stuff like that. So I had a blast, and I can't wait to do it for the next one. So is it you said an auction for your houses? So they have auctions where you can buy houses?
Yeah, they're a different type of auction. So the first few that I went to, as soon as I got my realtor license, it was like courthouse auction. So I would just drive to the courthouse in the morning, have my cashier's checks. I almost came up at one auction in Baltimore. I forgot what town it was in, but they were selling 5 houses on a block. Right. And so like I talked to the auctioneer, and he was like, yeah, if you want to get all 5, just don't bid on them, wait till the end, and then you can, put in your full bid. So I would have had, I think those were like maybe 34,000 per house, but they were worth 68. And it was basically an investor that was selling them. Right. And I just got outbid by somebody on the phone, like at the last minute, but that would have been a come up. So yeah, auctions are a good way to do it. But I found a lot of houses on Redfin, honestly.
And when you bought the house you're living in now with your family, Casey didn't know you were buying the house, right?
Yeah, so that was so we had started looking. I
want to explain to people. He surprised her with the house. She didn't know where they were going and everything. How did you? That's a good black man. How were you able to keep it from her and like her not know anything and just surprise her like that?
So let me just say it was selfish, because I was trying to get an investment property out of the old house. So I was like, we got to get out of here. And so we started looking for houses, like I want to say it was like August or September. And it just became
it was the same year when I got my house, because like I got mine and then you got yours. Like we always doing things at the same time.
I know. But we were looking for houses, and it just became like a headache. We were looking for different things, had a difference of opinions on stuff. And then she was partly wanting to stay in the old house and do what I was like, look, I need a rental property. So we got to move. So I blocked her on Redfin. I basically blocked her from seeing anything. And then I just started looking for houses. And then I found this one, and it had a lot of work that was needed. It had like severe water damage. Like, I mean, pipes were busted in the garage and in the master bedroom. It needed probably like $18,000-$19,000 of work. And this was an auction house, actually. So I bought this house on hubzoo.com. It was literally like an auction property. I had to go in and bid on it. I lost the first time, but then the people relisted it. And I ended up getting it. And so after I got it, after everything was done, we closed, signed papers. Like I kind of just took them. I was like, hey, I got something to show y'all. Kind of took them to surprise them. I don't know. They probably thought we were going to get ice cream or something. And then we pulled up, and it was like, what is, like, what are we doing here? And so, yeah, that was it.
Did you cry?
Who, me?
No, Casey. Well, did you cry too? I mean, that is emotional. Like you pulling your family up, they don't know what's going on.
I cried when I got that first rental property check. I was like, But yeah, so I mean, it was definitely a good experience. And even now, like I'm like using this quarantine time to, paint and I'm still working on getting this house, where I want. So
your introduction is real touching. Would you say it was cathartic for you? Because I know when I was writing my book, when I wrote Jeff's chapter, when I was writing it, I had to stop and start again and tears fell a little bit. Then I know I had Lawrence read it, and he told me he had to put it down and couldn't read it and all that. And your opening introduction is kind of on that, that same level. It's like, hey, this is real touching. Did you was it cathartic for you? Did it like help you like therapy wise, like help you get through that?
Well, when I came back from Atlanta, like I knew I wanted to do something, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I didn't start off with the idea to write a book. I just started writing because I have a journal that I always write in anyway.
Yeah, every time you go on vacation, you be in your journal writing.
Yeah, right. So I just started writing, and then once that portion was done, like the rest just started flowing out. So I just kept writing. I started writing so much, I started typing. And then it turned into chapters and segments and all that. But yeah, actually writing that part, I don't think the book would have happened without it, because it kind of was an anchor to, I guess, why I think about real estate the way I do. And it definitely made this happen. Yeah.
You're kind of private, so you didn't have no reservations. Like, I don't know if I want to share. I shared a lot of crazy stuff in my book, but I changed names, so they don't know if it's me or somebody else or not. So, but they know it's you in your book. So did you have like, I don't know if I want to share this kind of thing about it?
Yeah, that was that took about 2 weeks to like
flush it out.
And like, all right, this is what's going to happen. And so I
that gets the people going. They people like stuff like that.
Yeah, even sharing that story, like people have sent me messages again saying they've had similar experiences, or they, lost their house when they were a kid, or they moved around a lot and they never felt, so like,
it's very visual.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
That could be like in the movie. If I write a script one day and I might put that in there, I don't know how it's gonna go in there. I give you a piece of the money I make off the movie. I'll put that in there. I got you.
Make it rain.
So, right now we're in a quarantine revolution. People, so when Julian launched his book, none of us there knew that would be the last time we'll be out and about in a big group setting, like at a little bar or something like that. That's March 13th. And after that, everybody was on lockdown. The whole world was on lockdown. Has COVID affected you anyway with real estate? Did you take advantage of any of the programs, anything like that?
I got my LLC checks. So that was a blessing. But COVID has definitely affected me. I'm sure it affected you. Like my goal at the start of this year, like after the book, was speaking engagements, line and stuff. Yeah, I know. So that was going to be my spring, and that was going to be my fall, just speaking engagements. So all that got shut down like immediately.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to shift my focus. Like, okay, if this isn't going to happen, what do I do? And then that's when I kind of started putting my time and my energy into getting BLXALL up and launched. So, but it definitely affected. Thankfully, real estate wise has been good. There were a few people I had to, give breaks to, but everybody else has been good.
What people don't know is like speaking, like they don't get it. You become an author or you do something and it's impactful. You can go to colleges, and not just colleges, different programs and jobs that have speakers come in, and you get paid to speak. And once you get pretty big, you get paid a good little check to go and speak. Like my book is in a few different colleges, so the colleges pay me to come and speak. And some people like Tamika Mallory. I was listening to her the other day. She said that's all that's how she gets paid. It's doing speaking engagements. That's it.
Yeah,
but to give people an idea, just think about how a rapper says they get 100,000 a show. I'm not at that at all, but once you become like Eric Thomas and Gary Vee, they get paid like $50,000 just to go speak for 2 hours at a gig. So just to give people an idea of what we're talking about, we're at the low level, and we're trying to get big to that level. And COVID affected that because you can't be in a big room, and you want to do speaking engagements. They're trying to do it through Zoom, but the check ain't as like how high it was coming in to actually speak to students or audience like that. So.
Yeah, and then even not being able to actually like sell products. Like it's not like I can, it's optional if somebody wants to buy a book or buy a shirt or a hat now, but doing it in person would have been. So we'll see what happens with that.
And they're saying now that we are in a recession. We are in a recession, right? Like we're in a recession.
Yeah.
So what can be the pros and the cons for real estate for somebody that's trying to buy a house?
Right now, the pros are these crazy low interest rates. I mean, you're getting a house for nothing. So you're saving hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month. You'll be saving tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan if you're able to buy a house at 2.8%, 3.2%, like anything like that.
And what is that percentage compared to what is regularly?
I mean, when I refinanced, I refinanced the house in, what month is this? This is June. I refinanced the house, I want to say in November, and the interest rate then was like 3.7, I want to say, something like that. Now, like if you can get an interest rate at 3, you're literally just saving money every month for the life of your loan. Like you'll never have to refinance that property ever again.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, so there's that. Then and you hate to benefit off other people's hardship, but if people aren't able to buy houses because they're not working, that means you have more opportunity to buy property. Whereas 6 months ago, like the market was on fire. I mean, people are still like getting loans and houses are still going pretty fast, at least around here. But it does create more opportunity where you have a chance to buy more property because other people aren't. Maybe some people are just stacking their money. They're just waiting to see when this is going to be over. Maybe some people just don't have the money. So there's definitely opportunity and obstacle.
Right. How long, just to give people an idea, how long did it take you to write the book? You came to Atlanta in November or the end of, what's November, October? It's one of them.
It was like mid-November, mid to the end of November. So I started writing probably like the first week of December, I think, or maybe the second week of December. And I was done by like the end of January. I think I sent you the first chat, the intro.
He sent me, he called me. It was like, so I wrote a book. I'm like, what are you talking about? He was just down here. How'd you write a book that quick? So it took me like a year and a half to write my book. It took him 2 daggone months to write it.
Book is a massive manuscript about the hardship and struggles and beauty of college life. So
yours is a manuscript about real estate.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate
it. It took him 2 months. And for the people who don't know him, because I know him, this isn't his first book, okay? He wrote 2 books in college, one about poetry. What's the name of that one, the poetry one?
Unspoken Thoughts. That was poetry.
And then he had a second book called Goodbye to the Game. He did this all while we were in college, traveling to A&T homecomings in Atlanta all the time, up and down the highway, doing crazy things that I can't even say. And then he put in the book that nobody will ever know on a large platform. And he still managed to write 2 books in college. So where do you get your discipline from for doing things like that? Because you've always been like that. Like we can be out all night drinking, hungover, everybody be in the bed laid out, and he'd be downstairs writing. He's still drinking.
You gotta keep going. I think it's intrinsic, like it's internal. Like some people just get stuff done. Like when you think of Tupac, like he was one of those people. Like he just seemed like there was something in him where he had to keep going. Jay-Z is a lot like that. Like he just. Right. No matter what, he just keeps going. Like you have $1 billion. There's no reason why you're still hustling, but it's in him to just keep going and not settle and not be content. And I think a lot of us have that. Like a lot of my circle, a lot of my friends, where it's like y'all can chill now, but we got things to do. Yeah, wow, we got things to do. So I think it's just internal, where you have a compass, you have goals, and you got to get there.
Yeah, right. What advice would you give somebody that's just getting out of college and they have a good paying job and they just want to get an apartment, something like that, and they don't, because I know, because I work in the IT field, and a lot of people, they have a lot of people who fresh out of college come in and they making a good salary, and I be talking, I was like, why ain't y'all buying houses? Like y'all making good money and y'all live in Atlanta, like it's nothing. Like y'all can go buy a house right now with the South. I know what they're making. It's like, why do y'all keep wanting to live in an apartment? Like y'all can go buy a nice house and get a rental property. It's like, what advice would you give them?
Plug. Read the book because it's literally. I mean, we have to build wealth. Like, and I know when you're young, you're not like, I'm not worried about building wealth for my kids. Right. But if you just think about where you save way more money by owning your own house, you have tax benefits by owning your own house. Like you
Right.
can always move out of your house, buy another house, rent out that house, and then you have passive income. Like there are just so many opportunities to own in a house. And once you get over like the fear factor of going through this scary process and talking to banks and loan brokers and real estate agents, it's actually really easy. And
Right.
you get familiar with the process. Like after somebody buys their first house, they would never be nervous about buying a house again.
Right. How did you come up with the cover for your book? Let you all know, I said he's a graphic designer, but how did you come for the cover of your book? And also, people, he is the designer of my book. I drew it like chicken scratch for my book, but he designed it. He brought it to life. But how did you come up with the cover?
I
This is
love
like
your
a
chicken scratch
multitude of
drawing.
huh?
I loved your chicken scratch drawing. It was dope.
Yeah, but he brought it to life. So he designed my cover too. And his cover is buildings, different houses. I can tell it's his kids, like there's a woman on here. It's a multitude of things. What made you? What was the inspiration for your cover? I see like look like tomatoes. Like what's explain it?
Well, actually, every single thing on the cover is a chapter in the book. So, like, there's a chapter I talk about my truck breaking down. That's the truck. There's a chapter where I talk about like eating tomatoes with my grandmother, and that's talking about bills and saving and investing and having your own stuff. That's that. Of course, there's me on there when I'm talking about buying clothes and Jordans and stuff. Talking about buying multifamily, you see the kids. So it's literally I went through every single chapter and I just drew a picture that corresponded to it. And then I just put it all together and boom.
You got three children. I know they're kind of young, but have any of them picked up on your artistry or being an artist, or have any of them?
Zoe is like a serious artist. Like, so she used to just paint and draw all the time, but she's actually gone to digital now where she's drawing portraits on her phone and iPad. So I bought like this $40 pen, and I mean, she gets busy. Like, she's going to be a dope artist. She actually wants to do a clothing line. She has a good idea and everything. So I told her that I'm going to give her $500 to invest in her clothing line, and we'll be partnering.
Right.
Yeah. So she has a few things that she has to do to make it happen, and then she'll have a business.
Well, which one is, so we said like Zoe is your twin that acts just like you, or Zori?
No, Zoe is little Casey. She just has a lot of my mannerisms and attitudes and moves. She's Casey. Zuri is 100% me. So even when she gets attitudes and gets smart, I'll be about to say something like parentally, like, who are you? And then I just laugh because it's like, dang, that's how it really is. Yeah. And Xander, he's just a mix. He's trying to find himself. He just between the girls, he's the baby. So yeah.
One thing I love about your book is that you start each chapter with a lyric from a rapper, and then you end each chapter with somebody African American that's of influence, like Langston Hughes or Frederick Douglass, but you started with Jay-Z or like Big Sean or Kendrick Lamar. How'd you get the idea for that? I thought that was like, oh, this is dope, because they'll make the younger generation wanna read it. It's like, oh, this is pretty cool. Well, how'd you come up with that idea? How'd you find all the different quotes and apply them to those different chapters?
Well, the funny thing is, I didn't have to find too many quotes. I probably had to find 2 quotes, because other than that, like we grew up on Scarface. We grew up on all these people. So you pay $12, you put 7 away, you live off the 5, you never ever touch what you save. Like, that's easy. And so, when I was thinking of what was influential to us, like, I learned a lot of my money tips from rap music, like legit. Like, if you're listening to the right people, they're telling you how to double up your money, how to save your money, what to do with your money.
Literally, song called Double Up.
Literally. So that was the easy part. And then I wanted to add, like, I hate to say historical, but the historical quotes, because I think that matters too, because it's people really saying the same thing about our people, about our culture, just in a different way. And it's really meaningful to have both ends of the spectrum, because, it really connects with who we are and what we're going through right now. And like nothing we're going through is new. We just have an opportunity to change it. So
And one of your chapters, I forgot the name of it, just talking about buying a house before you get married. And in there you said, imagine, actually, you think about, you're talking about how you would think if you didn't have children, how much more you can get done, because you run errands, they want to stop and get snacks, they complain in the back seat. So from that, I'm asking you, You got a clothing line, you got a book, you're a gym rat, you're a husband, you're a father, you're a brother. How do you find time to do all of those extra things? Do you and Casey like work together on? Because and then she has a whole, her whole babies and Bellinis and got so much going over here and over there. How do you all find time to balance and do all that? Because part of the whole clothing line and writing the book and promoting it and Instagram, it's so much being a designer on your own, self-published, and it's like you're doing everything yourself. So, and plus you got children and a wife on top of that. How do you find the time? Because some people might go crazy, but you look like you doing okay.
All right, no ball spots yet. I made a commitment like really early to not burden my family with the stuff I wanted to do. So when it comes to working out, I literally have an alarm that goes off at 5 every morning. And it says greatness hour. Literally, it's like, get up, it's time to work out. So
greatness hour?
Greatness hour. That's the name of the alarm. So I'm in the gym by 5:15 every morning. Right. And I do my hour 15, get out of the shower, and then start planning my day. Do my post office runs before the kids get up. When I'm doing a lot of like the design and the artwork, I try to do it after they go to sleep. So it's usually like around 11 to like 2 in the morning, just try and get work done. And then,
just get it done the way you can.
Yeah, get it done. So even writing the book, I would be at Zoe's cheerleading practice. I would be sitting in the truck just typing. Yeah,
you gotta do it when you can. I mean, when I wrote my book, I was on my break at work writing my book. I get 2 15-minute breaks, but those 15 minutes add to 30 minutes. Plus you got lunch, so that's an hour and 15 minutes. That's getting stuff done. That's those hour and 15 minutes, those little breaks, it helps move the process along. So people who's watching this and wondering how they do all of this, we schedule it. We have times like with me, I cook all. You was there. I cook all my meals on Sunday, and when I was going to the office, I would iron all my clothes for every day throughout the whole week. So when I get home from work, I don't have anything to do but work on my craft, my extra hustling ideas, business entrepreneurship, everything I can do. So that's how you do it. It's funny you said that your alarm says greatness hour. My alarm is actually Erykah Badu's Times of Wasting. So when I hear that, it's like times of wasting, like get up.
I feel like she's talking directly to me when I hear that song. Don't take the time, young man. Like we don't got time for that.
Yeah, we don't got time.
You told me something that inspired me a while ago. You were on your lunch break and you would be calling schools for speaking engagements, to talk about your book, everything. I was like, this man is like on his 15-minute breaks making calls to registrar's offices. That's dope. Like that's hustle. Like,
because once I get off, they're off. Mm-hmm. So I have to call them. I call them my lunch, 15-minute breaks. If ain't nobody around, I might sneak around, call. They answer because it's hard because they're in meetings all day. So you got to keep following up. And for anybody that's like you're chasing a dream, you're going to get a lot of no's. But all it takes is that one yes to get your foot in the door. So don't let them not answering the phone deter you from chasing your dream or anything, because you got to make a lot of calls in anything that you do. Like you gotta pitch yourself. So even if you got an app, you got to call those businesses. You got to reach out to people. So don't let those no's or those hang-ups on you. Or sometimes they might answer the phone. I'm calling HBCU. So some of them might have attitudes like, he calling it again. But, but in the back of their mind, they probably respect it. Like, let me check this boy out.
Let me check him out the way, yeah.
Like, okay. And then it just takes for them to open the book to read it. And then they'll be like, okay, I see what's going on. But that's what, not just in being an author, but anything you do. You want to get your clothes in the store.
Parents note, like I bought a house last year that I didn't have the money for. Like, I bought a house in cash and I needed that money back quick. And I couldn't find a bank that would give me a loan for the house. Like I just couldn't. I called 28 banks and I got no's every time, but you got to wait 8 months. You got to do this, you got to do that. And I needed that money back like immediately. And on the 29th call to the 29th bank, he was like, yeah, we got you, no problem. And I was able to pull the money out, refi that.
29 banks?
Yeah, 29. Local banks. Like,
you like Kathy Hughes. Kathy Hughes did that to get her radio for Radio 1. No bank would give her a loan. She said she called like 100 banks and only one bank gave her the money. Now look at her.
Yeah. I hope I have that ended. But yeah, so the perseverance is like a big thing when it comes to like doors closing on you.
So back to Black excellence in all things, BLXALL.
Mhm.
What made you launch that? I know because we were about to get into the whole revolution thing. Now we can get into it. What made you launch that during this time? Perfect during this time. What made you go into that? And what made you? You said you almost stopped it, but what made you go ahead and do it?
Yeah, I wasn't going to put it out. I was just going to wait until I felt like there was a better opportunity. But you know, had conversations with some people, like prayed about it, like really sat with it for like 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then I felt like it was the right thing to do, to just go ahead and launch it and have a positive impact on the situation in the
Right.
world, and you know, just try to make a positive out of the situation.
Right.
So just actually promoting perseverance and excellence and achievement and dedication, which is what
Right.
Black excellence is.
Right.
I felt like would be more helpful than hurtful. So I went ahead and launched
Right.
it. And I appreciate everyone that supported. Like, stuff is sold out. I've restocked. It's been crazy. So
Yeah. I mean, and I feel like people are supporting more now than
Yeah.
than ever.
Yeah, the timing was crazy. And so I hope this wave continues, where it's like support Black businesses, support Black authors, artists, like Black everything.
Yeah, 'cause
And I hope Black businesses keep doing good, like good work, good products, everything, and not take it for granted.
out of everything that's going on right now, that is like a positive thing. Like I see a lot of people supporting everybody. Like I went and bought so much stuff from all these different people I didn't know. I knew some of them. I was like I ain't broke. I just cashed out and just bought a rack of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I got this is his pen right here. This is his bracelet. I love his bracelet. It says Black excellence in all things. I have on this shirt. He has this shirt on. Back in the back behind him, he has dad hats and everything.
Yeah, the dad hats.
What's your opinion on the revolution happening right now and everything going on about the riots, everything? What's your opinion? And what do you think we need to do as a people to get to the next level? Because we have to break the system, because that's the only thing holding us back. So what do you think we need to do besides rioting, protesting? What else? What other path can we take?
I mean, I think sometimes when it's peaceful, it gets ignored and things go to where they go so people can be heard. And you see the change that's happening. I mean, there is change happening right now, like from these racist schools and statues and names being changed. Like, it is change happening. So you can't really dispute that fact. So however we got to this change, it happened, you know, like, so I don't really have an opinion on how it happened, but we're here now. So like, I just hope that the wave continues, where like we have a voice, we use our voice, we're being influential right now, and the other folks are riding with us because they finally see that this is some BS. And you know, I think everyone's doing their part. Like, and I'm really happy where we're at right now.
When I seen Minneapolis and I seen that they blew up the police station, I seen everything going on there. I called a few of my friends. I called Lawrence and this girl I know, and I was like, it's about to be a wave, son. Like, I feel it coming. They're about to ride everywhere. Like, I feel it coming. Then 2 days later, Atlanta and all these different states started riding. And I didn't really have a problem with that. I did have a problem with them doing it in the Black neighborhoods. But as far as like Gucci and all those high-end stores and all that, and them burning down everything, I it's like I didn't feel that much bad, because you see where it got us. People started, we've been saying Black Lives Matter for how long? And now when stuff start getting torn down and burned up, now people starting to agree and understand. That is still just so wild to me. It's like, we've been saying this, but now that things are blowing up and everybody's protesting. You know, like, it took the whole pandemic, the world to shut down, people to see what was going on. And that is just, it still blows my mind. It's like,
well, I think it's something about that specific video where you see like from start to finish everything that happened, and there's no way they could kind of twist those facts to make it anything other than what it was. And so even the other people had to be like, yeah, that's not right. And so, you know, like just hopefully the change sticks and it keeps changing, and you know, we end up in a better place.
And then you also have to take into account the pandemic that's happening. A lot of people lost their jobs. Some people only got a $1,200 check and that's it. But other countries like Canada are sending their people $200 checks every month or more in doing that. People lost their jobs and they angry from what they see. So they took their anger out, and that's what happened. That's what happens when it's run by a country that don't give a damn about their people. So about their citizens. So that's what happens. And it's probably going to continue to happen until they make some kind of change in the system, because doing all this symbolic stuff,
Well,
statues and all that. That's good, but we need changes within the departments and everything like that. So,
agreed.
I'm actually loving this time right now. You know, like working from teleworking and everything going on. And I see you all went down there and took Zoe to the process. What was her reaction to all of that?
Oh my gosh, she didn't want to leave. Like there were a few points where people were speaking. Like she literally got choked up and cried. Like, I mean, it was deep. So even when it was time to go, she was like pulling my hand, like, no, daddy, we can't leave yet. We can't leave yet. And I mean, she understands what's going on. She sees it and she wants to be, you know, a part of the change. And I think that's the whole generation behind us, a few generations behind us, where like they're going to have a voice and opinion and going to be able to use it and actually make change.
Right. I went down there. I think the riots that happened down here on a Friday, and I went down there on that Monday or Tuesday to go protest. And I was a little, because I went down there by myself, and I shouldn't went by myself because I was listening to some people and they said, like, when do you get locked up? You got to have somebody to bail you out. People got to know where you're at. So when I got down there, my sister was FaceTiming me. She never FaceTimed me, and she seen my mask, and she seen me get out of the car, and she know how I am. She's like, I know you rebel. You want to go down there. She's like, where you at? I was like, at the protest. She was like, call me when you get back in the house. She's like, be safe. And she was like, oh my God. So my mom started texting me, why are you down there? I was like, it's a protest. She's like, it got to be a part of the change of history. Like, I want to be, I felt like, and everybody doesn't have to do this, but I feel like I should be down there. Something my son was like, go down there. So I went down there, and I knew I probably would meet somebody down there and start talking to them. I met a girl down there. We was together the whole time, and we was walking through there. It was kind of cool. It's like, wow, like, and then I got down there and I seen all these white people down there. I was like,
yeah,
oh, like it was so many of them. We walking on the highway. It wasn't like when the guy got killed at the Wendy's walking on the highway. It was like the highway going to the street. And we was chilling. One thing that did happen though, Tupac Changes was playing, and for no reason the cops just sprayed tear gas at us. So the whole crowd started running, and I wasn't really scared. It was kind of rushed a little bit for me a little bit. So I wasn't really scared. They shot tear gas. I got a little choked up a little bit. I was like, I'm good. And then I stayed for a little while longer than I left. But I was listening to different people, and that wasn't the first time because I went to actually with this radio station. I went to Selma for the March anniversary, and that was it wasn't as tense as that, but I was kind of nervous down there because they had the bomb squad out there. I'm like, and we in Alabama and Selma, and it still looks like the '60s down there. So I was like, I was kind of nervous down there. Like something can pop up right now and go down, but it wasn't that bad. So let the people know what all else you have coming up. Where can they find your books and your clothes at and everything?
Everything is at BLXALL.com, BLXALL.com. The books, the clothes, everything is on there. On Instagram, same thing, BLXALL. And right now, for the near future, we're just going to keep spreading as much information about building wealth and through real estate, and hopefully start talking about the stock market a little bit more, just investing in different areas. Keep spreading the information about the book, and just continuously do drops as far as the clothing line. We just dropped the kids' clothes, which is doing really good. So thank you everybody for supporting and buying, and just got some summer stuff coming up until we figure out what's going on with these speaking engagements.
Right. Yeah. You and Casey, right? Y'all like a power couple. I love y'all. Every time I see y'all, I be like, oh man, I love them together, man. It's like, cause Casey been in the gutter with us. She done lived with us and everything. She done seen it all. Have y'all ever thought about doing a business together, or them kids is enough business for y'all to do together?
No, I don't think I would. I think I would have a partner or do collabs with people, or like I would do a partnership as a business with another business. But I don't think I would do business with anybody else, like go into business with anybody else. And that's why
it's so much less stressful just by yourself.
So it's super stressful by myself, but I can at least cuss myself out and then take it and get back to it. But like even me and her try to work out together, and I just frustrate her. So I just know like a business wouldn't work. So no, we're good.
And for the last question, we got 2 minutes left. For the last question, what would you tell younger Julian Dangerfield? Since you're older now, you experience, what would you sit down and tell him? Remember your older self, because I remember your younger self. So what would you tell 18, 21-year-old, just got in college, about to graduate? Julian Dangerfield? What would you tell him?
Two things. One, I would have went to school for engineering and not computer science, just personal preference. I would have went to grad school immediately after college, and I would have bought a house at my $32,000 salary on a program in DC, and I would own the house is worth $500,000-600,000 right now. So three things. That's it.
All right, man. You give out your Instagram and your Twitter and Facebook and everything.
Yep. BLXALL at everything. So Instagram and then BLXALL.com.
And they can get it on Amazon too, right?
You can get on Amazon. I'll make more money if you buy it.
Yeah, exactly. I understand it. You can get my book on JeevanBrown.com and Mask and everything like that. Twitter is Jeevan A. Brown, Jeevan Brown. Instagram is Jeevan Brown. JeevanBrown. Facebook is Jeevan Brown. Go out there, support us. A lesson learned. Everything I wish I knew. It's my author brother, my man, my best friend, Julian Dangerfield. Thank you, man.
Thank you for having me, bro.
All right. How you in this?